Hi everyone, I'm Principal Misty, and welcome to your first session of LPS school. There will be a total of 7 sessions. Good luck! Oh, hello. I'm your teacher, Miss Reed, and welcome to your first subject. I'm the school's librarian, and I'm so excited to share with you some tips I have about storytelling, one of the most important elements here on LPSTube. Today I'll be giving you 5 tips on how you can come up with story ideas. This is perfect for any LPS series, short films, skits, or movies. In addition, if at any time you have any questions or comments, please feel free to raise your hand in the comments down below, and maybe some of your peers will help you out, or I will try to help you out if possible. Now, let's move on to the first tip. Number 1, music tells stories. Now, as a librarian, I absolutely love every single piece of art. Everything has a story. Music is such a great way that tells stories. Every artist that writes a song has a story to share, and they wrote that song because of the story. Lots of great artists tell stories through their song. Take, for example, one of Sugar Diamond's videos, Hugs and Wishes, a Christmas special that came out in 2022, tells the story of 2 neighbors who hang out with each other and start to develop feelings. One element in the story includes paper messages that they share through windows. This story was partly inspired by You Belong With Me by Taylor Swift. Or let's take a look at one of Sugar Diamond's other examples. On the top we can see a picture of Miss Popular and Prom Queen, 2 of her most popular short films on her channel. And so where did she get this inspiration, you may ask? Sugar Diamond was listening to the song Prom Queen, and she was also listening to the song Homecoming Queen. Both of these songs talk about girls who have struggles with trying to live up to expectations and be the perfect person they're expected to be, when in reality they can't live up to those standards because it's just too high of an expectation, and it's unrealistic. So from those songs, Sugar Diamond developed both of those story ideas. Of course, she added a few of her own touches that just came naturally, but those are just a few examples of how Sugar Diamond got ideas to make those short films. Let's move on to tip number 2. That is, watch other LPS videos. It's common sense, though, not to copy other LPS videos. Yes, you can get tidbits of inspiration and ideas from them, but it's best not to copy a whole thing. This is a bit of a harder example to describe. Sometimes the simplest of phrases or quotes from an LPS series or short film can start a whole new story idea generation in your own head. I brought in some of our acting students to give us a little bit of a demonstration. Sorry, Maya, I couldn't make it to your birthday party this weekend. As a best friend, it's my duty to be there on your special days. And I'm sorry I had to work at my parents' business because we're struggling to make ends meet.
Cooper, I am disappointed in your actions, but I do understand that your family's business is important, and whatever you need to do financially, I'll support it.
From that scene, what could we take out of it? What about Cooper? His family was struggling financially. Well, let's see. They're barely making ends meet. That's something he said. So what if we made a story about a struggling family? But how could we develop that story so it could have a deeper meaning? Well, let's say that there's maybe a family and they want to move to help their child pursue their dreams in, let's say, singing or acting. So they move to LA. With that, they are struggling financially to survive, and maybe then their child makes a big break, becomes famous, and can help them pay their bills. You know, that is a super brief and not very specific idea, but from the basic storyline that you have, you can develop it. Any phrases or things like that in LPS videos that spark inspiration, you can build off of. All you really have to do is sort of play Mad Libs in your own head with your own self, and eventually a story will come to life. Number 3, certain parts of books or movies. This one is very similar to tip number 2, except it comes from books or movies.
For example, this short film created by Sugar Diamond, Dear Miracle, was all about a child finding her mother, or who she thought was her mother. Well, where did this idea from a child finding a stranger and thinking it was her mother? This idea came from the ABC series Once Upon a Time.
When Emma's kid, I forgot his name, shows up at her house claiming that she's his mother.
And from there, that short film was created. Tip number 4.
Start with the theme.
Most films or episodes of series have themes throughout them. It can be a life lesson to teach to the viewer, or just a simple theme to keep in mind. Sometimes it's easier to start with your theme. So, what do you want your film to be about? Maybe you want to be about being bold and standing up for yourself. Or maybe you want the theme to be something along the lines of treating everyone with respect. Or should it be, listening to others is very important. Any theme you come up with can develop a story.
As I said earlier, the story Miss Popular was developed from a song. However, not only that, but I also knew that I wanted the main character, aka the popular girl, to feel pressures. Pressures not shown at her school. Pressures that she has to live up to in her life. Because let's be honest, everyone struggles with their own lives and not everyone can see what the issues are with that person because that person is so good at putting up a facade pretending that they were okay, even though they're struggling. And not only did Sugar Diamond use a song to develop the story, but she also used that own theme of it's okay to not be okay, to put into a story and tell it visually.
Now, our time here is almost to an end, but I have one more very important tip that I would love to share. This is Sugar Diamond's favorite tip to come up with stories. Number 5. Just start playing with your LPS.
Usually I like to use the word rehearsing, because you're simply rehearsing with your LPS.
Now I have invited Misty herself to come in and share her tips on how she does this. Hi, Miss Reed. Thank you so much for inviting me. Hey guys!
So, the first thing I do when coming up with ideas, I pick out some LPS from my collection that I haven't used in a while or that I just think would be good in a short film. Like, if their colors are really great or if I just really love the mold, I will use that. For example, I really like both of the molds and the colors, so I want them to star in my next short film. Next, I usually like to think about the genre. Do I want it to be realistic fiction, fantasy, sci-fi, adventure, you name it?
My favorite, as you might be able to tell, is the school setting. Just because it's so relatable to the viewer and most people can relate.
So, I'll start just moving the LPS around on my desk. Just my desk and the wall, I don't need any props or background, you just start playing and letting your imagination shine. Eventually, you might come up with a great story, or a tidbit of a story and you want to expand on that. So you take that tidbit, concentrate it down, and try to grow out the storyline, fleshing it out and getting out all the imperfections. From there, you have a rough idea and you can start on filming. Thanks so much for inviting me, and again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Maybe your peers will be able to help, or I'll do my best to try to help you out too. So, I gotta go check on your guys' next subject, but see you soon. Thank you. Well everyone, that ends our session today. I hope you found some useful tips. Comment down below anything you learned or anything else you would like to learn. Until then, this is Miss Reed, and it's been a pleasure having you in my class. Can't wait to see you at graduation. Oh, well, you got out of that class. How was she? Thank you all so much for attending LPS school, and I'll see you in session 2. Oh, and best of luck on your filming endeavors. Have a wonderful and magical day. Bye!